Oh, hey there. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nick. This is TC Timberart, and today I'm going to show you how to make this. I'd like to give a special thank you to Black Forest Sawmill for sponsoring the wood for this build. He sent me some walnut and some curly maple. Thank you, Sean. You guys should go check him out. He's got a website, he ships, and he's always running that sawmill, and he's slapping up all kinds of goodies. And I'll leave a link to Sean's website at Black Forest Sawmill down in the description, so you guys can go check him out.
And we'll slide on into a nice wood milling montage. This is one of those projects that I've been wanting to do for a long time. And the right time just never came along. But when Arbortech asked me to do Global MakerFest again this year, that's when I knew, this is it. This is the project. Here we go. One of my goals when doing this one was to carve the entire back. I'd done a wavy flag before and carved most of the back, but I left a spot to hang it on the wall. And this time I wanted to go with a different approach so that I could carve the full back, and that way when you look, it's wavy every which way. Big thanks again to Arbortech for putting on Global MakerFest. Just trying to get a rough shape here, just a general guideline. Oh, no, never mind. Let's try again. Marking center here to drill a hole because I want to display this a little bit differently, but you'll see that later. Just darkening up these lines a little bit so I can see it better. Hey, all right, let's do it. All right, the gang's all here. Let's talk some tools. First up, we get the Arbortech ball gouge. Then we have the industrial wood carver, the Arbortech power carving unit with the turbo plane, the mini carver with the mini pro carving disc. This is the contour sander. And then we have the mini turbo plane, and this actually has a sanding attachment on it at the moment, which makes it an aggressive direct drive sander, but that's the blade that comes with it. And this is the brand new precision carving system. Really excited to have some smaller tools in the lineup now. Comes with a mini ball gouge, a flat cutter, and then you've got this sanding attachment. And just a closer view, here's the adapter that goes on your 5/8 arbor, and then these smaller attachments screw into the adapter. Alright, so as we start to carve into it here, I typically will start all my carvings with this. It's the industrial wood carver. There's carbide cutters on the outside. They are replaceable, but you can also loosen a set screw and rotate them to get a fresh edge. But this tool cuts on edge, so you see how I'm using it here and kind of doing sweeping motions or cutting in with the edge. That's how you want to operate this tool. And I feel that I should mention that safety is your responsibility, and while I don't have the blade guard on my grinder while I'm using this tool, I'm also very experienced using it. So just remember to be safe, folks. And here I'm using the Arbortech Mini Carver. This is a pretty sweet unit, and it's variable speed. I've got the Mini Pro disc on it right now, which, much like the industrial wood carver, it has carbide tip blades that can be replaced or rotated. But what's really cool with this one is not only is it smaller, so you can get into some cooler angles, but you can cut on edge as well as on the face with this tool. Here I'm using the brand new precision carving system with the mini ball gouge on it. It works the same way as the larger ball gouge, only obviously it's a little smaller. The right side of the tool is the cutting edge. If you see the way I'm dragging it along here, you can't use it perpendicular to the wood. Now I'm using the Arbortech Power Carving Unit, which is their variable speed grinder. There's also some dust collection and a couple other attachments, but right now I'm using it with the turbo plane, which most of you are familiar with, but this tool only cuts on the face. It won't cut on edge. You can still be aggressive and hog out a lot of material with it, but you can also finesse with it and really get some smooth surfaces right off the tool. And since I wanted to carve the entire back of this piece and mimic the front, it's basically what I call carving blind, because you can't see the front. And I wanted to minimize the risk of carving through the front, so I decided to kind of make myself some reference lines all around the edge just to make sure I don't carve it too deep. And I'm using the industrial wood carver here again to hog away most of the material that I want to get rid of before I start to fine tune the shape. So I've got the ball gouge going here, but something I want to talk about with this tool was technique. If you notice how I'm holding it at an angle and I'm using the right side of that ball, that's where the cutter head is. If you deviate from that angle and get closer to perpendicular to the wood, it can kind of catch and bounce around a little bit on you. And it's not going to cut the right way. So it's important to be holding the tool and using it the right way, like you see me doing here.
Guys, so I'm pretty happy with the rough shape so far, both front and back, but as the material is getting thinner, I've got to be a little bit more careful now and take my time, so I'm going to start making some marks, both on the front and back. It's especially difficult on the back because you're basically carving blind and by feel. So I'm just going to take my time, I'll make some marks, remove a little bit of material, flip it over, do the same thing. Then after that, when I'm happy with the shape and the thickness, we'll start working it down and sanding it and smoothing it out. And move on to the next steps.
And this is just a good old-fashioned feel and draw. Feeling on one side and drawing where to carve on the other, and just hoping that I'm right. Using the sanding attachment on the precision carving system to sand some of the areas that I was able to undercut with the mini ball gouge. So I've got the mini turbo here with the sanding attachment on it. It's a direct drive, more aggressive sander. It's a great way to do your initial sanding, but also depending on the grit of sandpaper you have on there, you could do a lot of shaping and remove a little bit of material with just that as well. I used the PCS for a lot of the sanding, but I still needed the Dremel for the smaller details.
Alright guys, so I've done a pretty good initial sand. We gotta get some stars on this bad boy.
While I had a template with the right size for the stars, you can imagine how difficult this was. Needless to say, these 50 stars took quite a while. but it was totally worth it. Now that all the stars are done, it's time to start finish sanding this, and I've got the Arbortech contour sander here. It's a random orbit sander with a flexible head, allows you to get in all kinds of different areas, curved surfaces. But this is also where that initial sanding with the mini turbo pays off and saves a lot of time on the finish sanding. But don't get me wrong, it still took a long time to sand this thing. Sanding, but we're there. Just about ready for finish, but if you remember in the beginning of the video, I drilled this hole here. I put it dead center in the flag and I've carved around it, and that's going to be for a stem that comes out of a base to hold the flag up like this, and that way you'll be able to turn it and look at the flag whichever way you want. Not only that, instead of hanging on the wall, even if you display it on a shelf and somebody looks at it sideways, they'll be able to see that it's been carved all the way and it's a true wavy flag. Here we go.